Riverats, you are listening to the River Certified Podcast with Spencer Bow and Ryan Tasler and an array of guests where we cover the fun, interesting, and sometimes rugged parts of spending life on or near the water. Yeah, so what I was saying is just take all that stuff with you when you leave.
Okay.
And then you can just organize as many podcasts as you want, because I'll be here the next 2 weeks, but then I'm getting ready for Guyana after that.
Yeah.
And I got to get my captain's license freaking done.
Absolutely.
And then I'm back from Guyana, and it's like Christmas holiday season coming up quick after that, and then I'm in Florida for 2 months.
Yeah.
And then after Florida, I come back and I go to Suriname.
So other than that,
Right.
you got nothing.
When are you going to go on a big international pursuit of the largest freshwater cat or largest predatory catfish that swim on this entire freaking planet?
We're a year away, because
At least a year,
yeah,
or less than a year.
because for one, that large amount of cash plus the time off my
It's 5,000 to 6,000.
that time off my normal job kind of puts a crunch on me right now.
Oh, dude, you're telling me?
Yeah.
The last trip I went on, but it was just one of them. Whatever, you only live once. Like, I'm gonna die someday, so I might as well enjoy it, the ride along the way, and I'll do my best to make more tomorrow because it's gonna be expensive. But
Yeah.
you know what?
And that's where I'll get, but the way I kind of have thought about it to this point is I only have a certain amount of time to take off from my daily work and a certain amount in my bank account. So I'd rather put that into, let's say, 7 or 8 more local.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's Tennessee or if it's, Missouri or wherever we go. If I could get 5 or 6 trips out of that same amount of money.
Oh, you get way more than that.
Yes.
We're talking 5, 6.
I'm just saying.
For concept wise, like more bang for your buck.
Yes.
By staying local. And you're absolutely right.
And I'm not going to hit 145-pound wells, of course.
Right.
But I'm just working within my reason. But that's at the moment.
Well, you can't bring the Wells trip up because that's like the bargain bin of international catfishing trips. Like, it is cheaper to go to Spain Wells catfishing than it is to go to Florida. Like, you can spend a week in Florida and spend twice as much as you would to fly to Spain.
Even on the Chattahoochee?
No, it's pretty cheap
on the Chattahoochee.
Well, and your room and board would be taken care of down there. So, but that's the cost of lodging. That's the big deal breaker. Like, you book a hotel in Florida, you're talking, if it's not a piece of shit, it's $150, $200 a night.
I'm sure.
So you figure
they know what they got.
Let's say 150 times 7. What's that? 1,050?
Yeah.
Right there, that's over half of what I paid to go to Spain and back and everything in between.
Yeah.
All the way down to the $9 airport beers, man. So Spain, like...
Which was half the cost of the trip.
You ain't joking, man. Like I said, we drank every beer in Spain, which I'm back to drinking some beers. Life's back to normal.
Kinda. What's your Ultra?
It was in the fridge. It's like, it needs drank, so I'm going to drink it.
My girlfriend's dad has fridge beers. He doesn't care what's in there. It's a fridge beer.
There's some hazy, hazy IPAs. I don't like IPAs. They'll get drank eventually.
Absolutely right.
But it'll be like diluted. There'll be, 3 or 4 Busch Lights, and then one of those, and then back to the Busch Lights. And
there's a system.
Similar deal with these.
Which those aren't bad.
If I'm at a bar and they don't have Busch Light, this is what I drink. Yeah. It used to be Bud Light, and then I discovered the Mick Ultra thanks to Jason Schneiderhan's wife.
Yeah.
And because that's what, when I stay at their place, that's my room and board fee. Bring her a case of Mick Ultra.
Mick Ultra. Yeah, when we went down Spoonbill and you brought her a case.
Yep.
I think we drank it, though.
Well, and that was the time before that I drank it, too. But that's where I learned that they're not so bad.
It's the thought that counts.
That's where I'm at with it. But I totally hear what you're saying as far as, making the most out of your dollar.
Yes.
It absolutely makes sense. But at the end of the day, it's pretty freaking cool to go to the rainforest.
And I will, and I can't wait.
Did Jay tell you he's going?
No.
He didn't tell you he's going?
I haven't talked to him. He's been in Boston. He's in Boston for work right
Jay's
now.
going to Guyana in November.
No crap.
Yeah. I don't think he's paid his deposit yet, but...
What days in November? November's trapping season.
Yeah. I think it'd be the trip over Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So you have another little motivator to go. It'd be
I'm not going to Thanksgiving.
Me, you, and Jay. It'd be a good time.
That would be a great time.
And maybe I'll work around the dates. There's a trip after that too.
Yeah.
We'll see what kind of magic I can work. You think about it a little bit. So on to your. Do we want to talk about Kansas?
We can talk about Kansas. It was speaking of lodging, I took my girlfriend down there with me.
Right.
You know, and she just kind of needed a little getaway, and I knew I was going to be gone. I had 2 guide trips, so
it's a very scenic
left,
place you took her to.
She is more happy just to sit in the house with no kids and read a book.
And have like a cool house to stay in?
Yeah.
Is that kind of her thing?
So I rented a condo, which was 3/4 of my expense of the whole trip.
Dude, yeah, that's the thing. If you can, that's why I camp.
Yes.
Like if you cut the hotel Airbnb out of the trip, it's amazing how cheap things are. Like
absolutely right.
I'm going to go to the Missouri next week. I'm leaving on Monday. I'm going to camp. So it's going to cost me like $70 in fuel to get there, $70 in fuel to get back. And I don't count food because you got to eat no matter where you go. And I'm not staying in a hotel. I'm sleeping on the bank. So it's going to be $140 to fish.
Throw in beer and food and gas in your boat.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, so total $300, $400 for a week.
I mean, if you include the food.
Yeah.
But I don't include the food because you got to eat either way.
You do. And when you're camping, you eat pretty realistically.
I'm going to eat some fish, you know. And I got $2 in hash browns. I got some eggs, whatever that equals, $2 in eggs.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring
some brats.
Yeah, probably some brats. So we're up to maybe $9.
Yeah.
And some catfish breading, oil. I don't know. I'm going to eat for 3 days on like $25.
Yeah. Which, if you're at home.
And a case of beer, so that's another $25, $50.
Yeah, if you're at home, you run out and get a meal, that's $20 right there. You know, it's amazing when you are not there for any purpose other than fishing, how cheap it can be, which is awesome.
Yep. I might even do blackened catfish on a campfire. We'll see. I haven't had blackened catfish for a while. It just kind of sounds good.
It's on the menu.
But anyway, back to Kansas.
So it was a pretty fun trip. You know, I can't thank you enough for getting me some bait. Spencer went out.
I forgot about that.
The night before I went out. And,
see, that's how much of a big deal it was to me. I forgot I even did it.
And he loaded me up with a bunch of shad, which was awesome. I ended up getting some that next morning, so I had fresh and that.
Did you found some?
Yeah, I found some shad, and then I caught some white bass as well. So I threw a little bit of everything at it.
Was there anything they preferred?
No.
It was just
literally everything got hit.
Yeah.
The fillets got hit. You know, the gut pocket got hit. Heads got hit. There was zero preference on anything.
You caught a pile of them, right?
40 to 50 total on the trip.
So in 8 hours of fishing,
I ran 2 guide trips, so it was
12 hours of fishing.
12 plus I fished probably 3 by myself, so 15 hours of fishing.
So it wasn't gangbusters, but you probably had waves of fish.
Yes.
Yeah, like it would be nothing for a little while, then suddenly you got 1 to 3 rods going on.
We never doubled up, but there was definitely areas where you're like, oh, fish on, take care of it, fish on, take care of it. So it was a good time. Nothing huge though, which
what would you say your biggest one was?
15-ish.
Yeah, but those are fun fish.
Yeah.
5 to 15s are fun.
And there was a bunch of 5 to 15s.
You send some people home with some fillets?
No, they didn't want them.
Really?
Everybody I fished with didn't want to keep them. So
those are I love flathead, but I might like blue cats.
Blues are good.
Maybe even better.
They are.
They're just, you get that mud vein out of them, and they're so mild and flaky and firm, and you can cook them so many different ways. And like if I catch 5-pound blue next week, he's dead.
Oh, absolutely right. Yeah, that's 2 meals.
I hadn't kept a fish for a client for a while. Nobody wanted them, but I had my last guide trip on Tuesday for 2022, and I was pretty happy.
And you did well.
Yeah, we caught some fish. It wasn't like gangbusters, but it was post front. I told the guy it's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
And I said, "Do you want to start out with cats or walleyes?" And he said, "Well, I never caught a walleye on purpose." And he still hadn't. We caught some smallmouth.
Got some smallies I saw, yeah.
But we did that.
You can't get them all.
Yeah, we did that for a little while, and then switched over to cats. And I was on my way to where I thought they would be, and then I saw a bank that had a bunch of timber on it. And I'm like, and I had to slow down because there's this log that I always hit it. So I quit going by there on plate.
It's a sign.
Dude, it follows me. I hit it on Monday, and I swore last time I was down there it was 20 feet to the right, and I smoked that thing, centered it up on the boat. I was so pissed.
I told Spencer's log.
I told the guy, I'm like, there's this log here that just follows me around, and then words didn't hardly leave my mouth, and it was just like, yep, there it is. But I had to slow down so I didn't smoke that thing, and I didn't even hit it, but came around and I looked at that bank. I'm like, we need to side scan this.
Yeah.
And I come by the first brush pile over there, and I like, those look like fish.
It's alive.
It's alive. And there was probably 6 to 10 fish in it, and you don't know what they are, but I said, I bet they're cats.
Yeah.
So let's throw some baits at them. And 5 minutes, rod goes down, first one in the boat, and we fish it for another 15, don't get a bite. That's how cold water cats are, you know. There could be a bunch there, and only so many are active. But we bounce around a little bit, put 4 in the boat, and probably could have had more, but you know, everybody gets excited when a rod goes down. That's all right. But he was happy, and that's all that really matters. And he wanted to keep a couple. And I flayed them out in the boat, and nobody wanted to keep any for a while, so I was happy that
cold water cats are tough to beat.
Well, that's what I told him, and I did them good, man. Like I flayed them out, and then I took all that red meat off of them for him and threw them in baggies, and he had a cooler, so he was ready to keep some fish. And
that's awesome.
I told him these are going to be the best cats you ever ate in your life, and they will be. Yeah.
Did you send him a bag of breading home?
I didn't. I didn't have any on hand.
Yeah.
That would have been the classy thing, but I'm not the classiest person in the world, so. Didn't work out.
Anybody that's listening, if you haven't tried Whisker Seeker batter, you need to try it. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it really is.
If you like crispy, crunchy fish, which I don't know anybody who doesn't.
Some do, but if you're a beer batter guy, then you really don't like that crisp. You know,
you don't like it. Like you like the beer batter, but even those guys like the crunchy ones.
Yeah.
Like let's be real. Like I've never handed like a plate of fried fish to somebody and they ate a piece and didn't eat anymore. To me, that's the biggest compliment to your cooking is if people go back for seconds.
Especially ones that are kind of hesitant to take the first piece.
Oh, yeah. That's very rewarding.
Yes.
But, I don't know, it's just a good quality cornmeal-based fish batter that makes your fish fillets extra crispy and nice and crunchy, and it has good spices and good flavor, and it's just good. And
the Cajun really does have a little bit of kick. Not a lot, but it does have a little bit of kick
if you put a little extra hot Frank's
yeah.
on there. So Mike and Trish book a trip a month, right?
Yep.
And the last trip me and Mike went on, Trish couldn't make it. Or no.
Did you take Mike and his kids? Was that trip?
Nope. Trish made it. She was late.
Oh.
So it was me, Mike, and Trish. And his daughters were in school, so he left them in school for this one. But they got me a birthday present.
Awesome.
It was a gallon of Frank's Extra Hot. and Old Bay blackened fish seasoning, which I will take to the Missouri River.
I was going to say, your whole Florida trip is set now.
Dude,
you've got a gallon?
If that doesn't speak volumes for how much they know me, I don't know what does. And I got tipped. I had a guy come book a trip on Monday, and he tipped me with a bottle of Frank's Buffalo. So really? I have variety.
Awesome.
I can't complain.
Not sure I've had the Frank's Buffalo.
It's solid.
It's good?
Yeah. I haven't put it on fish. Maybe I have. I don't remember.
Some buffaloes are way over the top. And some are good.
I just call it good. I don't know how to describe it. I like it. Pretty much every type of Frank's hot sauce I've had, I like. I don't know if you call that a hot sauce.
They know what they're doing.
Yes. So anyway, you're down in Kansas.
Yes,
you caught some fish.
Nailed some fish. I had slow periods. Had good periods. My clients were awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, they were unbelievable. Did nighttime trolling, and I put
Just put glow sticks on the planer boards.
On the planer boards.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
When you get
it was a good time.
Yeah. Imagine what it looked like with like a 50 hitting it.
Yes.
I'm sure you imagined it a lot, but
well, truthfully, with blue cats, when a 15 hits it, you're like,
oh, they smoke it.
But I had a glow stick or my night sticks, my Whisker Seeker night light sticks.
Yep.
On my rods, and then I had glow sticks on the planer board so I could tell when I was going straight. Make sure it was planing out. It was pretty cool when they got connected.
So I've only heard of that. I've never done it.
It's pretty cool.
Okay,
I would suggest it.
Okay. When I was down south, down in Bama, last winter, you can still troll for cats even when the water's like it was high 40s. But the trick is to go extra slow.
Yeah.
You're going instead of going 0.5 to 0.8, you're going. I tried to go 0.3, 0.2. Wind makes it pain in the ass, so you got to pretty much have to put a drift sock out.
Yeah.
And go into the wind. The wind swirls. You kind of get a little squirrely, but you make it work. But you go super slow. They still pound it when they hit it. And I had one, and I don't have like the big elaborate planer boards like a lot of people do with that are metal and this giant foam on top. I just have basically walleye planer boards.
Yes, me too.
And I had a 35 hit it, and
just looked like your Whisker Seeker bobber.
It was just gone. It was gone, and the rod was bent to the handle. And this is like a 35, not like a big dog.
Yeah.
Good fish, real good fish.
Absolutely.
One you want every trip.
Yes.
But imagine what an 80 would do to Well, I don't know if I told you. I think I ran into some big dogs on the Missouri last time I was there.
Well, you told me you got broke off a couple times.
Yeah, these fish. So I had my drag set to flathead level, which is a step below terminate. And I had a fish hit it so quick, so violent, that it buried the rod and bent it to the handle. Like the rod was pointed more at the fish than it was bent. And then, tink, popped back up. And I
85-pound braid.
No, the leader. 60-pound leader
60-pound
snap.
leader.
And I'm like, oh my gosh. It could have been 40. Could have been 140.
Yeah.
Who freaking knows?
Yeah. But you didn't even get to play with it. That's what
exactly.
sucks. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I better back these drags off now. So I did. And just praying I get another shot at a fish like that. Well, I did. About 2 hours later,
Yeah.
he did the same damn thing after I backed the drags off substantially. And he just buries it to the handle. Tink. Line breaks. 60 pound. Done.
Wow.
So who knows?
You sent me those text messages, and I was working. And that's all that was going through my head. I'm like, how big was that fish?
We'll never know. I feel like I
fish?
took it pretty good, but I think knowing that I can go back.
Yes.
It's not like
Yeah.
I took it better than. So I was down in Tennessee striper fishing. We'll get into that more. But if I would have busted a fish off in that fashion down there, I would have taken it harder than I did.
One that's 2.5 hours away.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Which I need to get over there.
You do. Take off next week. You're not going to the Amazon, so I got
to start a new house.
You got days to burn. You start that house on Thursday. It'll be fine.
It'll be all right.
So you caught some white bass.
Yeah.
How'd you catch them?
Those were an inline spinner. Was most of them. I caught one on cut
What
bait.
was the temp? Water temps.
Low 60s.
And you're still getting them on inlines.
Yep. It was my first set of clients were supposed to meet at 9, so I got out there at 6. I was just went out and caught some shad right underneath the bridge.
Yep.
And then
Oh, you caught them on the north end.
What's that?
You caught them white bass on the north end even.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right on the other side of the bridge before that cliff starts.
Yep.
Like that little cove.
So you do, just motor around with the trolling motor, casting around? Yeah.
Yep.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, just kind of checking things out, just kind of enjoying it. But I get a call at 8:15. I'm like, where you at? I'm like, well, I'm just right up underneath the bridge. I was just catching bait, screwing around, waiting until you got here. I'll come down to the boat ramp. It's like, what bridge? Like the big one.
Were they at the wrong ramp or were they at the wrong lake?
They were 2.5 hours away.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They came from Missouri, and the lake I was at started with an M, and the lake that they were at started with an M, but they were 2.5 hours away.
What direction?
South. So
that's priceless.
So I fished for another 2.5 hours till they got there,
sure.
Which luckily our guide trip was supposed to be over at, 9 to 3.
Yeah, you had a buffer.
My next one didn't start till 6.
Yeah.
So I had enough time to run the first trip, eat a sandwich. The next trip showed up, and away we went.
So you ran an authentic double.
I did.
You did.
And I was very happy with my batteries because I didn't know if they'd hold 2 trips.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I left that buffer in the middle.
So
I was gonna charge batteries.
That makes sense.
But I didn't need to. They ran 2 trips like nothing, ready to roll.
And you just got the cheapo Walmart ones, right? Or you went interstate.
I went interstate ones. Yeah. Yeah, they're not lithium by any means, but they were good for the lead core.
Right. You got to go lithium.
So, I will. That'll be after January 1st because I've got enough write-offs this year.
Sure. No, I'm not. I don't know. I'm a lithium fan. I'm on the lithium. I'm not going to say the lithium bandwagon because I'm like on team lithium.
Yeah.
Not one particular brand so much. Like I have Bioenos, which are based in California, and they're kicking ass.
Yeah.
Like
and you use piss out of them.
Well, I bumped on the big water for 10 hours.
And you've got an 80-pound?
80-pound thrust, 24 volt on a 20-foot John boat, which it's a good unless you're going to be bumping.
Yeah.
Then a 112 it really would be the way to
36
go.
36 volt, 112.
Yep. But the lithiums are small enough. I could probably fit another 100 group in there or 100 amp in there if I really wanted to. No, I just don't want to spend $3,000 on a trolling motor.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Especially when I have one that nobody's buying.
Oh, you put it for sale.
Oh, yeah, it's
Your
for sale.
Garmin's for sale?
Yeah. Anybody wants a Garmin Force? I know a guy who has one. Just let me know.
Cut a deal.
Cut you a deal.
Never been wet?
No, it's brand new. It's brand new. But, yeah, the 24 volt lasts 10 hours with my boat.
That's awesome.
I think that's pretty darn good.
Absolutely right.
And they're light. They're smaller. They don't take up as much room. And for a jet, I think that's a big deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I took 100 pounds out of my boat, it would be an amazing difference.
Yeah, your boat,
yes.
100%.
Yep. Which now that I've got the engine where it needs to be, it's pretty badass ride.
I can't wait to drive it now. I haven't driven it since it started running the way it's supposed to be, so I'm excited.
It really does. It goes. So if I take another 100 out of it, that'll be
well. I liked it. I liked it even when it was running like shit.
I think this winter I might move that console up to the deck.
You'll like that.
I think I'm going to. Then I don't have to worry about. I mean, that'll help out so much with planing.
Well, maybe it'll be a rougher ride for sure, but it doesn't matter on small rivers.
Yeah,
where you're at 99% of the time, and you'll be able to see better, and then you'll have more room in the back.
Yes, and that's what once I set up, I want room to have just regular camping chairs. I want my clients to have camping chairs.
Camping chairs take up so much room, though.
I know, but if it's wide open there.
Yeah,
I'd
still
forward,
get pedestal seats.
You think so?
Yeah, they don't take up as much room. Like,
yeah, but
the
they're
camp
not as
chairs
comfortable either.
are so damn. Those Millenniums are just as comfortable.
Yeah,
We're getting into talking about all these brands and stuff. We don't do this very often.
We don't.
I'm not sponsored by Millennium. Millennium seats are badass.
But
man.
I'm looking for two. If anybody's got a hookup.
Well, I actually have a couple extras. I might loan you. We'll see. We'll see. No, the way
You heard him. He's giving them to me.
I have one you could have. The other one,
It doesn't have a seat in it. It's just a hole. But
yeah, you'd have to get the pedestal itself. But,
Yeah.
but other than that, yeah, somebody might as well use it. If I ain't gonna use it, you might as well. You'd have to buy another one.
you gotta have a spare though, in case one of yours breaks or something.
Well, I'll just take it back from you, and then you can go buy one. But they're honestly sweet. They're like mesh, so they don't hold moisture,
And
they're light.
Give a little bit.
No, not so much, but they're light. So if you need to yank them out of the boat, it's not like you're yanking an 80-pound captain's chair out of the boat like a lot of them have. You yank it out of the boat and it weighs 8 pounds, and you grab it with one arm, and it's no big deal. And so moving stuff around it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
But so they don't get wet, they're comfortable, and they're light. I freaking love them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that I need to make my boat more comfortable for.
If you're in the
Fine.
service industry,
Yeah.
you got to provide a service. That's the way I look at it anyway.
And I think especially if I move my everything up to the deck, camping will be so much better on the boat because I can fit 2 cots in
That's
instead
true.
of one.
That's true.
Yeah.
And if you get them pedestal seats, you just yank them out and
Just
put them
yank
on
them out.
Yep.
Yep. Because right now I can get a cot and 2 sleeping pads, which is comfortable. And, the guy that's on deck has a sleeping pad. All you got to do is literally do a sit-up, and you got a fish on.
Right.
Which is sweet, because that's like this spring when I caught that 44.
That's how it was.
I was literally dead asleep on a sleeping pad, inches away from
Caught
my poles.
my 44.
I did.
You were the last one. Or wait, did you catch it first or did I?
You caught it like 4 days before I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it became yours.
Yeah.
It was mine and now it's
Yeah.
yours.
I tamed it, and now it's gone.
I took the fight out of him. That's the only reason you put him in the boat.
There was some fight.
If I hadn't, it's like the jar, like you try to open a jar and then somebody else
I loosened it.
Exactly. You wouldn't have put him in the boat if I hadn't caught him first. No, but that'll be a sweet rig. You'll like that if you push that console all the way forward.
Yeah, I still wish it was a tunnel, but that's the only thing that is an issue.
You're never going to love everything about your boat.
I will someday. Just not of this one.
I don't you'll get that's the thing with boats. You get a new boat and there's so many things you love about it, and then you use it more and more and you're like, I wish it had this.
Yeah.
Like my boat, I love everything about it. I just wish it had more storage. That's the only thing.
But then you take away from your wide open, and you love your wide open.
But I'm not going. That's sacred. Like the open space in the middle is.
It's like China. You got to build up. You can't build in anymore.
I'm thinking building down. Like that back bench. If I could get some way to fab a storage compartment in that back bench with a hatch.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the way to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get a pile of storage, but I just want to get some some more tackle trays in there. Because everything I need is already in the boat and already stored. My tackle trays are kind of awkwardly placed.
Wherever they can go.
Wherever they kind of go. And they're kind of in the way at times.
And your rod locker and stuff like that.
Yep.
Fills that up.
Yep.
So when the wipers are busting and you're trying to get to the rod and the bottom, it's a pain in the ass.
Well, that is a pain in the ass. I don't know a way around that.
Yeah.
But to have my tackle trays kind of can like put away where you're not tripping and stepping on them and stuff. Because that's the biggest thing is I'll have my catfish tackle tray out because you get snagged and you re-rig and then you just leave it out because you're going to snag and re-rig. And even when it's quotation marks put away, it's not really put away anyway.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I have to make a point to keep it away from the rod rack because I don't want anybody to step on that when a bite goes down. But then when I keep it away from the rod rack, it's on top of the rod locker. So when the wipers go down,
Yeah.
I got to move that out of the way. And it's such a minor inconvenience. It's not a big deal. But if
Yeah.
I could find a way to eliminate that, it'd be sweet.
One thing I'm going to add when I move that up is I'm going to put holders underneath my steering wheel. So I can just reach in like a glove box, pull out
Oh, that would
a
be
certain
like shelves?
Yes.
Like basically
Yes.
shelves?
shelves with a bungee cord or something so they can't fall out. So they're just always there.
That'll be badass.
So I just reach in like
Yeah.
a glove box, pull
Yeah.
it out, and everything will have a label on it. Okay, Blue Cat. Pull out Blue Cat box.
But you can't read.
Well, I'll just use the color blue.
You can get some painter's tape.
Yeah.
That's the Blue Cat
Blue
box.
for Blue Cat, brown for Flathead, silver for Striper or Wiper.
How can you be that clever and not be able to read?
There's ways around everything.
You want to talk about the missing podcast?
Oh, well,
We were victims of circumstance, and so was everybody listening.
We
I'll
are
speak
sorry.
for both of us. We are definitely both sorry.
yes, it was technological and geological issues.
Oh, that is a great way of describing it.
That's the way I've described it all week because I've had several people reach out to me and be like, "What the frick?"
Yeah, I get it.
And I was like, "Well, I was in Kansas, and then by the time I got back from Kansas, Spencer went to Tennessee." And had not enough service to get
I had
me.
no internet.
Yeah.
Like, it was a cool setup. Mark Cooper, Top Knox Fishing, YouTube channel. Super cool guy.
That's a good word.
What's that?
Top Knox for Knoxville, Tennessee, I'm guessing.
You
right?
got it. So
He thought about
he
that.
did. He's the type of guy who put a lot of thought into it. But he's a good dude. He really is. And he's got a cool YouTube channel. So I suggest you check that out. He does a lot of like long videos. And he's down there in that area catching monster cats and monster stripers. He just put an
Dude, you got some toads.
We got some toads. He put an 81-pound blue cat in the boat the week before I got there. He took his buddy who never caught a catfish in his life, and his buddy caught a 5-pounder and then an 81.
Game over.
Well,
What do you do?
That's like kind of his thing. So he had his buddy who did that, and then he took his nephew out fishing like last year. His first striper ever was 53 pounds. The state record down there is like 60 or 58 or something like that.
It probably didn't even look like a striper. A 53-pound striper. That's crazy.
I mean, you look at the picture and it don't even look real.
Yeah.
And especially, I got to hold some 30-ishes, and those were freaky.
You sent me those pictures, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. Well, the last one we caught, we fished from, and this is how striper fishing is. It's a lot of nothing happening, like for big ones.
We're kind of used to that.
Sure, right. Just painting the picture for everybody. So we get out there at the ass crack of dawn. Not even. It was before the ass crack of dawn.
It was pre-crack.
Yeah. Dark as shit. Put the boat in the water. And they're like, there's a dam up there. We're going to go catch skipjack. And for all intents and purposes, I couldn't tell if there was a dam or not. Like, it was foggy.
I'm going to take his word for
Right.
it. Yeah.
Well, and that adds to the sketchiness. So let me paint you this entire picture. Mark has a 1648 Express John boat with a 50-horse Daihatsu on the back. Sounds kind of over...
On the Tennessee River.
On the Tennessee River. This is what he runs. We had a 100-gallon cattle trough skipjack tank in it, and 3 dudes. So
You were loaded.
we had 600 pounds in people. We had 700 pounds in water in this 16-foot John boat. Stability was in question. And we're motoring up to this dam where the water is ripping like it is at most dams. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous.
You're like, you've done this before, right?
I sure hope so.
Let's try this.
But that's the picture of events as they went down. But we caught bait right at first light. It was a little bit of work. We ended up fishing for like an hour and a half, and ended up putting like 7 good skipjacks in the boat. And where we were at, good meant like 2.5 to 3.5 pound baits.
You showed me those baits.
They're just dumb
unbelievable.
big. And then we motored down to this creek, and put them out, and we're trolling, dragging these giant ass skips around.
Rods are loaded up already.
Oh, dude. And they're like swimming, and we had one instance where one got hit, and like the other ones are jumping, trying to get away from these stripers and shit. But those ones didn't hook up, so that was the only action. This was at like 9:30, 10 o'clock.
Yeah, it's going to be a good day.
Well, I try not to think like that. Just try to take it as it comes. So we troll around till it gets dark. And then finally, rod goes down. Like right after the sun sets, it's officially pitch black. Rod goes down, and hook up on this 30-ish pound stripe or whatever. Fights
I
like
mean, that's it.
yeah,
You know?
fights. They all fight like bosses. Like this one, just rip dragging. I remember packing for this, and I was like thinking these medium heavy whisker seeker, like my flathead rods, are going to be a little excessive. No. Especially knowing that you could catch a 60 down there.
Yeah.
Because if they fight like that, what's a 60 do? A lot more.
Damage reels is probably what they
Well,
do. Yeah.
so we go by this tree, rod goes down. Well, actually, we went by this tree, bait freaked out. Nothing happened. We turn around to go back by this tree. Then the rod goes down, hook up on this fish. We throw him in the herring tank, the skipjack tank.
He thought he was in heaven. He's like, yes.
He definitely did not. He did not like that. He was banging around in there and stuff, but he was okay. It actually came out more zippy than he was when he went in. So, but we kept trolling baits, hoping that there'd be another one over there.
Yeah.
And it didn't end up happening. But when I opened the hatch and really looked at him, it was just looking at the proportions of this thing, and he was just, and they're just dense. Like they're big, but you pick them up, and they're just solid.
And that's why they're so fast, and that's why they can run. Mm-hmm. You know, that's why they got the endurance to just go on those long-ass runs.
I'm not going to say they're my favorite fish, but they might.
They make arguments.
Yes. I've never hooked a catfish that did that.
No.
Definitely not a 30.
And if you didn't live here, flathead may not be in your top 5.
I don't. There's something special about a flathead.
There is, but that's because location, they are top notch. They're the top dog.
And then I've thought about that too. If I would have grown up in like Wisconsin or northern Minnesota, I'd probably be a muskie guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you go catch a walleye, but when you really want to go after a trophy, you're going to go muskie fishing.
Okay, Woody, enough's enough.
It's like he hasn't thrown me the ball yet.
He sounds like he's freaking tap dancing over there.
Well, he keeps bringing me his ball, and I'm ignoring him, and he's getting pissed about it.
That's weird. Usually he's not so excitable like that. But yeah, the stripers, it won't be the last time I fish for them.
Yeah.
Promise you that. It's just such a haul. Like
it is.
You could drive down there.
It is.
I ended up flying down there on this trip just because it maximized time, and then I got a couple videos edited, and one on the way down and one on the way back. So that was kind of nice. But
and that's one of the nicest things about your reach is you have people in several locations where you're like, okay, do you have time to take out if I go?
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about hauling the boat, worrying about, because we've talked about the stress of travel. When you're pulling a boat, you're worried about the axles, you're worrying about bearings, you're worrying about tires.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about any of that when you fly.
Other than like the plane crashing and losing your luggage. Other than that.
I just threw the ball and Woody has no idea.
No clue.
Oh, it's okay, bud.
No, he's an asshole.
No, it's not okay.
He's an asshole.
No, that is a really nice thing. And I do need to do some trailer maintenance, or at least give it a hard look over before I haul it down to Florida.
Yes, you're on more of a time crunch than I am, but this winter mine's everything's taken apart, getting all new bearings, everything's. That's just going to be a winter.
You won't
project.
regret it. That's the thing with trailer maintenance. It's like it sucks in the moment.
It really doesn't. Putting bearings on isn't a big deal. I mean, it's not.
It's not, but it's not. It's like one of the last things I want to do.
Yeah.
So to me, it kind of sucks.
But
like,
as
I think
a
about
guide,
all these other things I want to be doing.
Yeah.
And like cleaning trailer bearings is at the very bottom of the
But
list.
I do a lot of sucky jobs on a normal basis.
Yeah.
You know,
which to me should make it even worse.
It's just kind of earning your keep.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
If you want to play the game, you got to pay that price.
Yes. That's exactly right. Either you pay somebody else to do it, or you get dirty and you do it yourself.
Or you don't have a boat.
Yes.
You know, like that's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
If you don't want to worry about trailer bearings, don't buy a boat.
Yeah. Because that's, truthfully, when we go on those long trips, that's the number one thing going to take you out, a tire or bearing.
I remember not the first boat I ever bought. The first boat I ever bought, the trailer was pretty solid. And I didn't use it that much because...
I was going to say the boat wasn't, but the trailer was nice.
if I would have known a thing or two, it would have been good.
You could have done something.
Yeah. But what ended up happening is I bought this boat because I thought you had to have a boat if you wanted to fish. And I was 16, didn't have that much money. And I'm like, I could go fishing in this boat, and between fuel and mainly fuel in the boat and hauling it.
Which fuel at the time was like $1.19.
Probably. But it might as well have been $4 a gallon for me when I'm 16.
Yeah, mowing yards.
Right. So I could take this boat one time or go fishing from the bank 5 times. And it's the same price. So I'm going to go fishing.
That's me in international fishing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I said I can
I'm
relate.
still on your 16-year-old budget.
You are definitely not. Thank God for you. If you were, you'd be having problems. But that was how my mind processed that.
Yeah.
And I didn't use the boat very much. But then fast forward post-college, I have a job, not the greatest paying job, but where I was living, I had a boat launch 1.1 miles away. I had one 9 miles away. I had one 12 miles away. And so I bought me a boat. I hauled it an hour from where I bought it. Didn't pay attention to the trailer.
Yeah.
Sat in my garage for the winter. And I did a bunch of work on it, did a bunch of stuff to it. I was so stoked about
Getting it the way you want it.
The way I want it. Take it out for the first trip, pull it out of the driveway, and I went about 50 yards down the road, and I noticed one of the tires is wobbling. I'm like, oh, that's probably not good, but
No.
boat ramp's only 8 miles away. So I went anyway. Get to the river, put it in the water, fish. Boat ran great. Everything was excellent.
Did the wheel smoke when you got it wet?
Nope.
It wasn't that hot.
I'm surprised it didn't. And then hauled it all the way home and made it. Anyway, I was like, I should look at that. It's probably not good.
Something I should look into. Yeah.
So the bearing, once I got the wheel off, which I had a hell of a time just getting the wheel off.
Heat's not good on metal.
No. I just yanked on it, popped it off, and this bearing is friction welded to the spindle. You couldn't have pried it off with a crowbar.
I made one problem into like 3.
Well, no. These old Shorelander trailers had bolt-on spindles.
Oh, sweet.
So you didn't even have to replace the axle. I just unbolted the spindle, got new hardware, new spindle, new bearings, new races, all that stuff, and slapped it all back on there, and everything was great.
Good.
Yeah. Couldn't have worked out any better.
Minus the price. But
yeah, but that's one beautiful thing about small boats. Small boats, small price tag.
Yeah.
I mean, total cost, which it's a chunk of money, don't get me wrong, but...
And time. You spent an afternoon doing it, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, and the dumb part is I took an afternoon grinding the race off thinking that I would salvage that spindle. There's no way you're salvaging that spindle, but I get it ended up being like $180 at the time or something.
Life lesson.
It was a $180 life lesson to freaking check. Like every time you pull it for gas, I touch every hub.
Absolutely right.
Like how's it feel every time? Now I know.
Every single time. You check your lights, check your hubs, check your chains, make sure it's hooked up.
Yep.
Right.
I know a guy who was pulling his boat down the highway and had a bearing lock up, and it threw the boat off the trailer into a light pole and it folded the boat around the light pole.
God.
So, I mean, it could have been like that. Everything's totaled. But it was $180. So I'm calling it a win.
Thank you, Karma, for never bringing that to my house.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. The boat launches into a light pole.
Oh. The bad stars aligned at that moment.
So there you go.
Wow. That just put life into perspective.
You're welcome.
I'm
Bills in the mail.
Thinking of a lot of things that went wrong in my life, and it was never that.
So the guy, he never bought another boat, and he just kayak fished after that.
I can believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, the universe does not want me to have a boat.
Woody wants me to throw the ball, though.
Did he? He did find it.
Yeah. You were way off, dude.
Were you even looking?
No shit. All right, ice fishing.
Ice fishing.
Are you excited for ice?
I am.
Yeah.
I am because I want to. I got a new shack.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get out and I want to hit some water that I've had very good luck, not only ice fishing, but open water, and get on some big crappie and perch.
Do you need another flasher?
I've got 2.
Do you want another one? I'll loan you one.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean,
small fee of a case of Busch Light.
I'll see your one and raise you 2.
Sold.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt by far.
It's just sitting around. It ain't getting used, so somebody might as well use it.
But I want to do some camping this winter.
Oh, ice camping.
Yes.
You better get a better sleeping bag, bud.
No, mine's pretty good.
Okay.
Well, it's -20 and it's waterproof. It's all right.
That's the one you take when we're...
My black one.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, then...
Yeah, it's all right.
I thought you...
No, I upgraded.
You had that greenish looking
Yes.
one that, like, sucked.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking you were talking about.
That's before I went camping with Dew.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't take me long to learn that I need something waterproof. And
Yeah, you'll be good. Do you have it... You got the foam pads?
for the
floor?
for the bottom, yeah.
Those are sweet.
Yeah.
There's something cool.
And they're not the foam pads.
No,
but
they're
I've got a 1-inch
They
pad.
work fine.
Yeah, that fit together like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be on, you're sitting on top of water, and the heater's rolling. It's comfortable temperature, and you're walking around in slippers. I freaking love that. And you're fishing. You're fishing right in front of you. Like there was one time I did it, and I had the Bears game on my phone. So I'm like watching the Bears game, and I got rods in the water.
You're like, this sucks.
Yeah, right.
Come on, fish.
It's freaking awesome.
Hell yes.
And I didn't catch shit except bluegills.
Yeah.
So I was using them for cat bait, and I ended up just filleting them and eating them. So I had fried bluegill watching the Bears game.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad.
The fishing was terrible, quotation marks.
Yeah. I smiled the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah. It was not bad.
So now hopefully we get some ice. I'm going to do a little trapping. I've got 4 properties.
You're going to get ice. It's just when is it going to be here?
Yeah, but some years you have less than a month of good ice fishing.
Here, just travel.
Yeah, I know.
You got to go an hour north.
I know.
And then you can start ice fishing like 2 to 4 weeks earlier.
Yeah. Which is going to happen. Which
you
I
need
know
to,
that.
You need to get on the
pretty
catfish game through the ice, man.
I do.
That is
But I don't have
fun.
jaw jackers. I don't have all
you
that
do.
yet.
I ain't using them.
You're not going to run them off the side of your boat down in Florida?
No. Though that would be
That
cool.
would be pretty cool.
Well, Troy and Amy, they have their homemade ones that they rigged up so you could mount them on the side of their boat. So when
Like
it's
diddy poles?
yeah, basically, and they'll suspend on them vertically and have these jaw jackers off, and
Are you
they'll
kidding
just
me?
on the side of the boat they'll just go off.
I want to cruise around and just do that.
It would, dude. Imagine
so
blue
much
cat
fun.
fishing like that.
Oh, my
that would be
God.
awesome. But you don't need to do that with them. They just bury it. So,
That'd be so cool.
but it'd be cool with the chance.
Yeah.
But yeah, you use. I'm just pawning off all my ice fishing shit today.
Why the hell are you bringing a boat out on the ice? I gotta try something. Hold on.
Your boat damn near would run on ice. You ever see those guys who guide on the Mississippi? Like the backwaters? Because the ice is questionable in spots there.
Yeah.
And they'll run fan boats.
Out to their spot?
Or out to their spot and on top of the ice.
Really?
Yeah, they'll just, it'll be open water and then they'll be on ice and they just keep going. That's something.
If they weren't so damn loud.
And expensive.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you could spend as much as I spent on this house for a freaking airboat.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you wouldn't need that around here, though.
I mean, what do you really need? You need one right now. If you want to run the river right now, you need one.
Think of how many more spots we could hit if we had an airboat. I mean, wise.
Or just period.
Like, I mean, we kayak to where we want to go.
But you'd be there now.
Yeah.
Instead of it taking 5 hours, it takes 25 minutes. But yeah, they are stupid loud.
Yes.
And it does kind of take away from the experience.
It does.
But you get over it when you hook your fifth 40-pound flathead of the night or whatever.
I don't know if that'd be a good daytime gig, though. That'd almost be like a go into a camping spot.
I mean, to set up perfect, yeah, it probably wouldn't be ideal.
Because they disturb the water so much.
But I'd get over it with the camping thing.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. And then the day I bought it, we'd get 3 foot of water and everything.
We'll have another drought again. Don't worry.
It'll sit in the barn.
We'll have torrential downpour flooding the next 3 years, and then it'll be normal for 3 years, and then it'll be a drought for 3 years.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm ready for some high water fishing.
Some creek mouths.
Hanging out.
That's one factor or one part of flathead fishing I don't feel super confident in is high water daytime flatheads.
I agree.
Yeah.
They're probably still in the same area. You just got to pinpoint the A spot.
I don't know what the A spot is for sure. I've caught a few.
It'd probably be further up creek, wouldn't it?
Or I have some ideas, but they're unfounded. They're untested. And I've never had a vessel where I felt real comfortable putting it in on high water till now.
Personally, without testing, I would think during the day they may push up into the calmer creek water.
I bet they don't run up the creek.
You don't think so?
Or at least they don't set up consistently in the creek.
Just to chill and get out of the current?
My theory, which remains untested, is let's say you have a bend in the river, right? With timber on the outside, traditional flathead type spot.
Yeah.
I'm betting they push out laterally to the inside, any structure on the inside.
Anything that breaks the current.
And then there's reduced current on the inside of the bends too. Now, I've done that a little bit with limited success. But it might just be the types of areas I'm hitting. I don't know. So they're,
and for the last 3 years, there's zero research being done in that area.
Right.
We've had to pinpoint some other locations.
Yes. Yeah. No, I don't know. Every time you go fishing, you learn a lot. Hell, that guide trip on Tuesday, I learned a lot. No way would I thought there would have been cats where we caught them.
Yeah.
And just a random chance happened to run some side scan by some timber, and I'm like, oh shit, there they are.
Yeah.
And every brush pile had 6 to 12 fish in it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because then you're at least going to find 1, 2 active,
Yep.
Especially this time of year.
So it was kind of a bend, not a sharp bend, but kind of a bend, and there was a lot of timber on the outside. But there was one, so we were scanning the timber on the outside, and then I noticed there was a brush pile in the middle. And like every brush pile we'd seen, there was a bunch of fish, and then we went through a stretch where there weren't that many on the bank, but that one out in the middle was loaded, and there was no timber sticking above the water. So unless you had the sonar, you wouldn't.
And it was how deep?
Like probably 8-9 foot.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
On this particular stretch, there's always depth, which is why I was there. But I marked the mother load, like the most I saw in that brush pile in the middle of the river. And
Just think about normal depth. Would they switch over to flathead instead of channel cat?
maybe,
You know what I mean?
yeah, who knows?
That might be a hunting hole.
More testing needs to be done.
Yeah, and will be.
And will be.
It's marked.
Yeah. Well, I did mark. So I kept scanning, paused the side scan, went back in the history, hit the waypoint, went and tied off to a log about 110 feet away from the waypoint and put baits all around it, and then bang, caught fish right there. And that is such a rewarding feeling. Like,
and when you get to name your waypoint, you just put a bunch of exclamation points.
yeah. That's one thing I don't do that I should, is start giving waypoints like stupid names.
Or at least something that will bring back your memory.
Yeah, stupid names.
Yeah,
like the dumber they are, the better I'm going to remember. Like, so working on my captain's license, there's deviation of a compass and variation of a compass. I freaking mix them up back and forth. So what I ended up thinking was deviation is caused by dumbass boats. D and D sticks in my mind.
Never make that mistake again.
Variation is based on geographical location. Deviation is caused by dumbass boats.
It's easy.
Finally got it right.
Easy.
Yeah.
Roy G. Biv. Got it.
Yes. But yeah, that was pretty cool when you can mark them, like that flathead we got earlier this year. Marked him on side scan, put a bait in front of his face, and he bit before you could get the next rod out.
I need to work on my side scan. I got to find a spot because my down scan works perfect.
Yep.
Everything else works perfect. My side scan's fuzzy.
It's the interference for remote.
I know.
It's because the jets kick out so many air bubbles.
But I've tried 3 different spots and it hasn't improved at all. I've got to do some research this winter and find a spot.
Did you put it on the pod?
It's on the pod. I've tried it on the pod on 2 spots. I mounted another mounting block by my motor, and I put it there, and nothing has worked yet. So
It sucks.
I need to figure it out.
Especially because you got a unit that does
Do
a good
awesome.
job. Yeah.
Yes. And I think my pods were mounted too low because, like, the bottom of them is the bottom of the boat.
It's probably aftermarket.
Yeah.
You know, your boat's not a tunnel. It's not built for a jet, and you got a jet on it, and they probably slap pods on there while they're doing it. So.
I wish they'd have raised them up about 2 inches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I do. You'll catch fish either way.
Yeah. And the way that I fish and guide, I don't need side scan.
No. It'd
have been nice down on my southern trip.
Well, and even up here, you just described it. Nice to have.
Yes.
Not
absolutely.
a need, but nice to have.
Yeah.
And most graphs, they at least have an option for side scan. And if you're going to get one, you might as well get the side scan.
Yes.
Because it's pretty cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even if you don't catch more fish, you're going to learn something.
Agreed. What else you want to talk about, bud?
Florida trip or your Florida vacation. You still got 4 trips.
Oh, yeah, I do have 4 openings. Still.
What are those dates?
I don't know.
Ish.
Sometime in January and February.
Yeah. So if you want to head down to Florida and catch some big blues and some stripers and some wipers.
I'd say the cooler part is just the action.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to...
Oh, you've had some light out nights.
But that's it. Like, you're not going to catch 100, but you could catch a pile of 15 to 25s with, you know, some 30s to 40s mixed in.
Yeah. And you got 60, didn't you?
No, not down there.
50-ish?
That was in Tennessee.
Oh.
Yeah. We got a 55 and a 54 back-to-back in Tennessee. Which, if my boat was better for it, I'd probably fish down there, or I'd probably go down there in the winter. And I might. The more I learn about it, like this last trip, it was much more appealing for my rig.
Yeah.
Because my worry is my boat is not made for waves and wind.
No, it's not his job.
Right. It's made for 6 inches of very flat water.
Yes, absolutely right.
And it'll float on a lake, you know.
Yes.
But to get around to where you need to go is sometimes an issue. But if you get good at a body of water, you can know what ramps you need to put it on to be able to
get you to the spot.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So I just need to put more time on it before I feel comfortable, you know, having people pay me to put them on fish.
Yeah.
And if that point gets here, then maybe
Then we're going Tennessee.
and it'd be a lot closer. It wouldn't be quite as warm, but winter times down there aren't too bad. And
No.
I'd like to put an enclosure on mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm going to do what I'm doing in the winter, even in Florida, it gets a little chilly at times.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. You wake up and it's like 38 in the morning. And,
Yeah.
you know, when you're driving down the river, enclosure would be nice.
Yes.
I was going to do it until I ripped the tiller handle off my boat.
That's a setback.
Yep. Between the tiller handle, the reframing of the garage door, and the garage door itself, I cut into the old full enclosure budget.
I can buy you a tarp. We'll cut windows in.
I got plenty of them.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But yeah, Florida's sweet. I don't know. I'm probably equally as jacked for Florida as I am Guyana.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, Guyana's pretty awesome. I think the thing that makes Guyana not as appealing for me, and this might strike people as weird, is I don't like flying on a plane very much.
Yeah,
I
get that.
I just bite the bullet and do
Yeah.
it because I know
You know the end result.
I know the end result, and I know my fear is irrational. Like there's a bajillion planes flying around every day. You don't hear about very many plane crashes. Everything's going to be fine. But once that plane gets off the ground, I'm questioning suddenly, is everything really going to be fine?
Especially after 12 $9 beers.
Oh, that makes it better, you know?
Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
The last plane ride I was on, I just reached the point of pure exhaustion and just fell asleep.
Yeah.
And I don't like plane rides. That tells you how tired I was. And I was talking to the lady next to me, and I don't remember like ending the conversation.
How the conversation?
I just
Might have ended with the.
Yeah. I just remember waking up like, oh, I'm on a plane. The pilot's like, we will be, or it was like, prepare for landing, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, we're landing. Okay,
It's the
good.
best flight ever.
Those are solid. The Spain one, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
It was,
And that's the one you want to.
oh, yeah.
That's.
Well, I was in the very back of the plane.
Yeah.
Not the last row, the second to last row. And that's where any turbulence at all, the back of the plane is what whips around. So I'd be just about ready to fall asleep, and then we're getting whippied back and forth. And it was, I mean, it was a big plane going that far, but the seats were more cramped than even smaller ones I've been on. So I was getting comfortable sucked.
I don't have an issue with that. You take up a lot more space than I do.
Well, and I can sleep damn near anywhere.
Yeah.
And I was having trouble going to sleep there.
Yeah.
That's how bad it was. It wasn't. I can't bitch too much. I'm not Sam. Sam ain't sleeping.
Fuck. Probably slam fits in the door.
Yeah, I was worried on this trip that I was going to have to sit next to him the entire time. I never told him that, but it was in the back of my mind.
I can see that.
And
Like, why wasn't Ryan on this trip?
Right. Well, that's why I keep inviting you. You're nice and compact. But I only had to fly next to him for one leg of the entire trip.
Yeah.
And it was the long one on the way back.
Yeah.
But that was it. You know, of all the different connectors and everything, and it was only I didn't sit next to him the whole way there. Sat next to him for the long trip on the way back, and then we had two more connectors, and I didn't sit next to him after those. And the last connector, I hit that point of exhaustion and just passed out on that one too.
Yeah. So you just got enough for a nap.
All right, we got changed the podcast. There's probably going to be less frequent podcasts. Like, I don't know how we can pull off weekly podcasts from here on out. Like,
Yeah, we're going strong and
of the quality that we're putting out, if you want to call this quality. So
quality-ish.
It was low, and if we do a weekly one, it's going to be even lower. And everybody has the line they don't want to cross. That's the line I don't want to cross. I'd rather put out fewer and then them being higher quality versus more and them being low quality. I'm talking audio wise because of like internet connection and stuff like that. Because I'm going to be, and then I'm just going to be gone.
yeah.
I'm going to be, I've been gone. I'm going to be gone some more. And then I'm going to be gone some more. And then I'm going to be gone a lot more and then I'm going to come home and be gone some more.
Yeah, our schedules just don't mesh enough to put out a weekly podcast anymore.
So there's going to be more podcasts. Like a lot of them are going to be without me. It's going to be you and some other guests, and I don't know. We'll see where that goes. Like we're
mainly just me talking to myself. We're live,
dude. That's the thing. Some people pull that off. Like
I could not.
I don't. I mean, people seem to think I just talk nonstop, which I do talk a lot in the right crowds, but there's times where I won't say shit for like hours on end.
Yeah.
You know?
And Woody gets pissed because he's like,
no, he's silent. He likes the silence. He just soaks it in. Look how regal he looks over there, just staring at the door.
He finally found his ball.
He's probably just waiting for Ella to get home. But yeah, weekly podcasts are going to be tough unless you buckle down. Like if you want to put them out every week,
it won't be on a schedule.
Yeah,
let's just say that.
Yeah,
it won't be on a schedule. When I can get them out, I can get them out, and but they will be good ones. I'm not going to put out any crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to keep, you know, and this weekly thing has been awesome. It's been great.
Yep.
But it's just like we talked about, you know, just
the travel is a big thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, Spencer's an hour and a half away from where I'm at. So that's, you know, a 3-hour drive time. And then you do a 3-hour podcast. That's 6 hours. And then it takes me another 4 to 5 to edit it. You know, I'm looking at 10, 11 hours a week. You're looking at 6 hours a week. That's just not feasible for what our end goal is.
Yeah. I don't really have any real end goals.
Well, I'm not talking about the podcast, but I'm just talking about, you know, the way we want our businesses to grow.
Sure.
And things like that. That's a big chunk.
And it's not a woe is me type thing. It's just an explanation of why we are leaning to go the direction that we're going to go.
Yeah, and I think missing that podcast last week was kind of an eye-opener.
Right.
Kind of, because we did have a podcast available. We just couldn't communicate technology with getting it where it needed to go.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, and that's just the start, because like you said, you're going to Florida, you're going to Guyana. You know, I've got some ice fishing trips coming up. You know, we got trapping season. It's once a week's just not feasible at this time. Now, next summer, we may pop back up to once a week.
Right.
You know, so I can't get a schedule together, but I will put them out as frequently as possible, for sure.
And you got plenty of friends who are full of shit over there.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah, that's why they're my buddies.
Right. Right.
And, you know, I'll reach out and, you know, maybe some ice fishing guide trips. Maybe we'll do a podcast and then go fishing or something.
There you go.
So
that'd be interesting spin on things.
Yeah. I you know, a lot of people that I've.
You think you could do a podcast and not drink? That'd be
maybe we'll do the podcast after the fishing. But no, a lot of people that I've took on guide trips, I'd love to have on podcasts because they were just a blast.
Yeah.
You know, like those, when I went down south, those 2 trips I had, they'd have made awesome podcasts because we just had a great time.
Do you ever have you ever heard, I don't know how much I'm a fishing geek, and that's just all things fishing, but I've also always wanted to be a guide. So any information I can find about guides or captains or anything like that, I look into.
Yeah.
And there's this overarching theme where these jaded, bitter old captains or guides are pissed off because their clients suck. In their mind, they're like, they can't do this, they can't do that, blah, 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 blah. I get sick of taking these people who fish who can't do shit. And everybody I take is awesome.
Well,
like, I have so much fun running guide trips. I don't understand that.
If my personality ever changed that drastically to get to that point, I'd quit.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
I think a lot of them do, but then the ones who stick around just bitch about clients.
Yeah.
And
which sucks, because every single guide trip I've been on has been amazing people.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Yes.
Just meeting new people and talking about this, that, and the other thing, and it's just freaking awesome.
Yeah. And most of them, you know, prior to the trip, we've had emails back together, or texts, or phone calls, so to finally get to meet them and spend that time with them and actually do what we enjoy, that just kind of brings it all together.
I think so.
It's amazing. So
it's unfortunate to hear people talk like that.
It is.
I hope I never get to that point. I have a hard time imagining me ever getting to that point because, I don't know, I love fishing. I love meeting new people. And then when you run guide trips, you are fishing and meeting new people.
And that's where you kind of got to step back and be like, I am fishing and I'm doing it for a living.
Do you think, at least this is what I think, and then you tell me your thoughts on it, is I think some guides get so wrapped up into the catching that they don't appreciate the things that really matter.
So every morning they've got all this pressure on their back.
Yeah, like there's some guys,
like self-appointed pressure, I guess.
Yeah, they gotta get a limit.
Yeah.
You know, like if you don't get a limit,
our limit's one. If we get a good one,
and that might be part of it
we
too.
hit our limit. Yes.
But if they don't get this limit, they're not successful. And if their clients lack the fishing abilities that make it tough to get a limit, then suddenly they're bitching about their clients.
Go pull worm harnesses on Lake Erie.
Yeah, but
everybody can catch their limit there.
Yeah, but not everybody has that type of fishery.
Yes.
And then even then, there's some people who maybe have never picked up a fishing rod in their life, and they don't even, like, I've seen it where somebody has a bite and you can watch the rod tip going, do, 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 and they're just holding it, not knowing what's going on.
Yes.
And that's okay, though.
That is.
Because as long as they're having a good time, it's all that really matters to me.
And you only know what you know. If you're the guide and you're not making them a better fisherman while you're out there,
you're a failure.
Yes, that's exactly
right. To me,
that's
you're right. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, because we're all gonna have fun when we land that 40-pounder.
Yeah.
But getting them the knowledge to where they feel more apt to be able to do it than by themselves,
and we're both ex-teachers.
Yes.
And I wonder how much that plays a part of it. Because there's a certain fulfillment of watching somebody get better at something.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think of teaching, I think of coaching.
Yeah.
Especially coaching, because it's so much, like, obviously.
It's a faster turnaround. Like, you could see the change in a direct fashion.
And the goal never changes. Like, when you're teaching, you have a unit.
Yeah.
And then it learn the stuff. You have a test or assessment of whatever type. And then you take it, and then you might revisit some of it based on the data you have. But for the most part, you're going to end up moving on to the next unit.
Which usually ties in somewhat to what you had before.
But it's not as quantifiable to see the improvement in those instances as it is in, say, wrestling.
Yes.
You know, like, to see a kid get better at setting up his double leg.
Yeah.
From season beginning to season end, that's just so much more obvious than the improved intellectual capabilities in a classroom.
Yes, absolutely right.
And I just love watching kids get better.
Yeah.
And to see it in that, I don't know, it's sweet. And it transfers, like I say, it transfers to guiding.
Yeah, because most people I take out are kids. They're just in older bodies. That's why we get along.
Woody, what is your deal? You're very needy right now.
I just want Mom to get home.
I think she is home.
I did hear something.
Yeah. Maybe we have an intruder in the house.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. Tell him to pull up a mic.
We'll set up another mic. Hope you know about fishing.
Right.
What are you shaking?
Well, he does that. You're an intimidating.
That's his go-to.
You're an intimidating figure, Ryan.
What
yeah,
now?
the whole guiding thing is.
He's like, go check out that noise.
Take your 9 with you too.
I don't want him coming downstairs.
You had something from Bill.
Oh, Mr. Service.
You took Bill out fishing, didn't you?
Yes, we had a great time. We had an awesome time.
Well, he sent you some. You might be river certified right?
Bill does a lot of fishing pre-work. Like, he gets up early in the morning, fishes, goes to work. Well, he sent me one the other day that made me giggle because I've been in this boat where he He found a shad.
Have you really? You don't even have a shad where you live. How have you been in that boat?
I've mostly night crawlers.
Oh.
Like when I'm bait fishing,
Yep.
I just throw a night crawler in my pocket.
Okay.
You know, my work shirts have a pocket.
Right.
That's a worm holder. So I just throw a night crawler in there. So if I got to move upstream or downstream, I have my night crawler.
You should get that embroidered on it. Worm holder. Anyway, Bill
finds this shad and he's like, yeah, that's a good catfish bait. That's nice and fresh. So he throws it in the pocket of his hoodie and continues fishing and then goes to work and realizes said shad is still in pocket of hoodie.
At least that's better than washing it. Can you imagine all the shad scales everywhere if you freaking wash that thing?
The way he described it, I'm pretty sure he had to throw the hoodie away because he said the inside of the pocket was nothing but shad scales.
Just obliterated
Looked like
shad.
A disco ball.
See, that's what I imagine. If you threw it in the washing machine, it would all be like that. Oh, Ella's here.
Ella's here.
What are you shaking like?
Woody can stop shaking now because the intruder is friendly.
Yeah, you scared our dog. Have you been beating him down lately?
You would think so, but he just peed upstairs. He's afraid to see me.
He peed. Oh, so the plot thickens.
That's why. He knew the ass beating was coming.
Woody peed upstairs. Ella shows up, and he knows that there's
He thought he got away with a trick.
somebody's gonna yell at him upstairs. Woody is
Cowering. In straight Woody fashion. Don't come to me. I'm not involved in your pee fashion.
Woody.
That's surprising. I let him out like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, like 2 days ago. He went
All right, so Bill had the obliterated shad.
Yeah.
Oh, the next thing we need to cover. We're going to have to end the F-bomb contest. The F-bombs, I'm sure, won't stop.
Oh, fuck no.
That'll be the one you'll have to leave in. But we were talking about time constraints as far as being able to put these podcasts out. And I know it doesn't seem like much, but by the time you package up some stickers and take them to the post office and whatnot, it's, like I said, it don't seem like much, but it's time I don't have at the moment.
Yes.
We might revisit it. We might come back to it, but currently I'm doing stuff 16 to 18 hours a day working on different things, and if I can save a half hour here or half hour there, like that is big.
Yeah.
So
you can put into another venture. Yep.
And that's just it. So everybody who's emailed me about it, I appreciate it. It's
keep emailing us.
Yeah.
Keep at it. And I'm going to keep missing them. So keep listening.
Yeah.
Nature of the beast. But this one's much calmer than our last one I edited.
Well, it's the amount of people.
Yeah.
You know, like we're all very comparable. So if you have, let's say I drop 2 F-bombs and talk a bunch of trash. You drop 2 F-bombs and talk a bunch of trash. Then
Jeremy Dawson drops 47.
Yeah.
and we can't understand a thing he says but that.
The postcast.
That was such a good time.
It is. Another thing I want to mention, and I mean to say this at the beginning of every podcast, and I always forget and wait till the end, just like this time. But if you share the podcast, like that helps more than pretty much anything, because there's not so much an algorithm to get this thing out. It's
word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth.
Yeah.
It really is. So sharing it on social media, telling your friends, and that there's a couple dudes who are full of shit and talk catfishing and pretty much anything related to fishing, that goes a long ways. And anybody who has done it, there's been a lot of people been sharing it lately, and I appreciate it.
Yes.
Really do. But the more the merrier in that regard.
Yeah. And another thing I was thinking is time-wise. Like, would it be better to do more hour to an hour and a half long podcasts?
I already
versus,
know the answer to
like
this
some
question.
of them have been like 2.5, 3 hours.
I mean-
is that too long?
So you can email us and
So email us and let us know.
my thought on that is let them be what they are.
Yeah.
You know, like
Instead of taking away from the flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
let the conversation roll
Yeah.
if it's rolling, and if it ain't rolling, then wrap it up.
Yeah.
Kind of like this. We're about to
agree.
wrap this one up.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But so you want booking ice fishing trips?
Yes. Iowa ice is unpredictable, to say the least.
We're in the bottom part of the ice belt.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, travel.
Yes.
Book
and
some-
if you guys are interested in hooking up, I'm just bought a new Otter Vortex lodge. It says it fishes 4 to 5. I want 3 of us.
Yeah.
So we got plenty of room.
You're gonna have some jaw jackers set up now.
Gonna have some jaw jackers. I'm gonna got some decent Vexilars. I got
And a
all-
Markham.
all the equipment and a Markham. I got all the equipment. I want to do some camping as well. So if you guys want to do some ice camping, I'm all on board with that. But if you guys are interested,
Ryan's gonna
at
have
all-
my crappie waypoints for the nighttime ice camping.
Oh yeah,
That's when you pound on them.
absolutely. There's nothing better than setting up at dark and those crappie move in and just bam, bam.
Unless
bam,
you're
bam.
trying to catch walleyes. That was the last time I was out there. I was trying to catch walleyes on this mid-lake hump. It went from it was 60 feet all around, and at the top it went to 20, and I was set up on the edge of it, where it went from about 20 to 30, and it goes steep.
Yeah,
And
you're like they're
crap-
going to be here feeding on these crappie.
yeah, no, I just figured they would show up. The walleyes would show up,
Yeah.
and it was nothing but like 10 to 14 inch crappies
Damn it.
eating quarter ounce rattle baits. And I was so annoyed that I packed everything up and moved 50 yards, and they freaking followed me. And I couldn't get away from these 10.
The swarm.
Yeah, the swarm of 10 to 14 inch crappies wouldn't leave me alone. And I was so pissed. I felt like such a piece of shit. Like, so many people would want to catch these. And I'm like, get away from me.
Didn't you delete that video?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you didn't even.
I didn't even post it.
Because I saw some of it, and it was great footage. You're
Yeah,
like, eh.
I'll tell you right where to go, Ryan. It's all you, man. You can have those
That's
crappies.
up north, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You and anybody who books a trip, you can have all them 10 to 14 inch stupid crappies.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep,
I
you're welcome.
appreciate it. I'll take your slack.
You're welcome.
But no, if you're interested at all in doing an ice fishing trip, get a hold of me. We'll talk dates, locations, and we'll get something going. And then for next year, if you guys want to start filling up I'll probably start late May, early June. If you guys want to start booking some trips or lining stuff up, who knows what the water conditions will be like, but we're going to go out and have fun. We're going to get on some fish. So
I bet we have a little bit of water next year.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really do. I hope it. Just for the biomechanics of the whole environment, just to flush everything out and kind of start new.
It'll be
That's
good
that's
for
the
it.
best part about spring, is it just kind of flushes everything out. We start new, and the season, all comes alive kind of at once. You got your mushrooms and your crappies, and then your flathead.
And your 40-pound flatheads.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So
Hell yeah. And if you want to support the podcast, Waterland Sunglasses, promo code RC15 helps support us, and you save a little bit and we get a little kickback. And then Bigfoot Bushcraft fire starters, they are still badass and they still start fires.
and it's getting cold. You need a fire.
Oh, I'm gonna be using the hell out of them when I go to the big water, man. This week or next week, and then I think that's really about it. Share it.
Share it.
Appreciate the hell out of everybody who takes time to listen. Seriously.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Oh,
Sorry again about last week.
yeah. We suck sometimes.
Yeah. It's
All right.
just the ebb and flow of our lives.
Yes. Thanks for listening. Hope you catch a giant.
Thanks, guys.